Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost.
It's been a while since you've messed up an intro.
I said welcome, Dak.
Welcome, Dak.
I gotta try that again.
Snacks.
Guess who's Dak?
Dak again.
Brought some snacks. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. We're your toast. God damn it.
We're toast.
I love toast.
My watch went off at the same time. It was distracting me. I swear I'm not even drunk.
We're your toast.
Welcome, Tack. We are your toast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsey.
Hey, guys.
You did it.
Very proud of you.
Time's a charm. I'm new here.
I mess up our outro all the time, so.
I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine.
No, I was going to say, have you seen the new trailer for the new Despicable Me movie?
Oh, I've worn off on you. Sorry.
No, I have not.
No, I have not.
It is the theme song that they're playing throughout the trailer is Mr. Eminem.
Did you know he's from St. Joe? I'm sorry.
Anyways, it is To Lose Yourself, and I thought it'd be the entire trailer.
Well, thank you.
Because they would he would sing he would rap like one section and then it'd show like stuff for the movie. And then he would rap another section. I'm like, oh my gosh.
What do we want to talk about tonight?
Oh, yeah, what are we going to talk about?
Paranormal investigation.
Yeah, that.
This is my special birthday investigation.
Yes, your
Birthday
investigation.
Birthdigation.
In birthdigation.
That sounds weird.
That does sound weird. Like you gave birth during the investigation.
We gave birth to our beliefs.
No, I don't like that either. Where did we go for your birthday?
Malvern Manor.
That was cute.
It was.
Thank you.
We did a revisit.
Part 2.
They said, where do you want to go for your birthday investigation? And I said, Malvern Manor, of course.
And so we did. We made it happen.
And thus we went to Malvern Manor. Josh met Sarah and I whenever we got there, and we had a nice little chit chat. And he said, oh, wait, I've got something for you before I go. And I don't think it was specifically for me. I think he just had it laying around, but I love and appreciate the thought.
Yes.
And the sentiment. He brought out this giant bag of shots.
He did.
Like, he knows us.
I have something to say about those shots later.
I do too.
And so I really appreciated it.
That was sweet of him.
It was a very good birthday gift. It was perfect.
So this is another private investigation.
Yeah, our favorites at one of our favorite places.
We love privates.
Private.
You went military. She went dirty.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who may have not listened to our first episode of Malvern Manor, which is episode 60, we went there.
Why went there?
I know, I messed up.
We did.
I was looking at the computer and my brain short-circuited. So for those of you who have not listened to our first episode of Malvern Manor, that was episode 60, and we went there. We loved it so much we had to come back. Malvern is in Malvern, Iowa, and it's really like a small town where there's not a lot there except for this place.
Yeah.
And so it kind of used to be everything. It used to be a nursing home and old folks home, but also had people there who had developmental disabilities and mental disabilities. They had people there who had committed crimes, violent offenses. It's kind of everything. And so
also a hotel.
And also a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to go into all of the history of it because we kind of already did that back on episode 60. So if you want to hear the history, make sure you listen to episode 60 and then we will go into all of it. This time we're just going to talk about our experience there the second time around and also some other people's experiences who have been there. Yeah. We had such, I don't want to say a good experience because Sarah didn't have a great experience there the first time around.
No, not the first time.
But we had such, we still had fun.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to come back.
We did. And in fact, we went through, whenever we go back to places, we like to go back through the books that they usually have where people can write in their experiences.
Yes.
And I took a picture of an entry from 2/27/2021, which was made by the Tipsy Ghost.
Who are they?
Sarah, and Lindsey. So this is from our first time, and this is what we wrote in the experience book. It says, we had so much here. There's a little bit of our, here's Here's a little bit of our experience.
I'm not that illiterate because I know I wrote it.
In the attic, Growl's EVPs, still have to review, felt very uneasy and did not last long there. Room 24, hair pulled, flashlight responses, noises in the hallway.
I forgot about your hair being pulled there.
Susie's room, cat ball fell off the dresser, rolled to the floor, batteries dying insanely fast. Rebecca's room, feeling short of air, nausea, headache, chest pains, felt bad energy there. Cord swinging.
I remember.
Hallway with Shadow Man. REM pod went off. Flashlight responses, feeling uneasy and uncomfortable. Hank or Henry's room. Headaches. Flashlight responses, feeling of anxiety. Noises in the hallway when trying on his clothes. Gracie's room. Light flashing. Thanks for having us. We loved it, and we will be back.
Oh,
and we were.
And we held up to our promise.
And we did catch quite a bit of EVPs and stuff on recorder after we reviewed the footage.
Definitely go back and listen to that episode. Malvern is near and dear to our hearts. It's one of our favorite places to go.
Yeah, as far as evidence goes from that first time around, though, you'll want to go check our socials out because we really got a lot of good evidence from our camera, which we cannot upload into the episode itself. So we were able to upload it or isolate it into a short video clip and kind of put everything all back to back. There was a lot of really good stuff from one of the hallways up there. So
outside Hank's room,
yeah,
if I remember correctly. So this place, like we said, has kind of been everything. It's massive. It's like 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
When we went, what you said, January?
The first time?
Yeah.
The first time we were at the end of February.
End of February, and it was freezing cold. So we wanted to come back when it was a little bit warmer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was.
A little bit.
And we have the kitchen and our safe space, which is where the heating is. That's where we sleep. There's some offices down there on the first floor as well for Josh. And then there is a staircase that's going to take you upstairs. And then there's a long hallway that leads to the Shadow Hall, as it's called. And this was, in addition, they built this on afterwards. And this is kind of where the nursing home residents were. So there's like a nurse's station there. And it's just this long hallway. And this is where probably the most negative energy is, besides the attic, I would say, where there's a dark presence that likes to run up on people. And there's a couple residence rooms down there as well. And then upstairs, it's 2 hallways. So one we're going to call the Bloody Hallway because there is blood on the walls. And then the other hallway is, I feel like we just refer to it as like Hank's room.
Yeah, Hank's hallway.
Hank's hallway. And that leads to the attic, which is pretty small for how big this place is.
Right.
So that's kind of like the sections, I feel like.
There's no basement, so.
Yeah, there's no basement. You have the Shadow Hall, which is down on the first floor. You have the Bloody Hallway. And then on the other side of the second floor is Hank's Hall. So,
and that's how we divided up the audio.
Yeah.
Each person, there was enough that each person got their own section of the house.
Yes.
And listened to all the audio from there.
There was a lot of it.
Hours and hours. This is probably the most footage we've had to review. I don't know how much everyone had, but I know I had at least 8, if not 9 hours.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was pretty equitable.
Okay, good.
Across the board. So I'll start with the Bloody Hallway.
Okay.
Which has Captain's room, it has Inez's room, and Susie's room. And so we got quite a bit in this area last time we were here. That's where I got my hair pulled in Captain's room.
Still bitter about that, in case anybody wants to know.
Whenever we saw Josh, he said that he's got lots of people in and out of there all the time. And he's got some people that try out some new equipment in Malvern. And I don't remember the ins and outs of this new equipment, but it was basically they set up a receiver and then they left the area and they could hear and talk to or hear responses from
like another location?
Yeah, it was some new piece of equipment that somebody was trialing. And so they got something about a dog. Like they heard a dog barking and then they were asking about a dog. It was like a small dog. He said something about like hooves and like pig snorts.
So like animal noises.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other things that he said were new were not necessary. They weren't from the Bloody Hall, but he said that the Shadow Hall had been more active and that he was shutting down after a group. He went and turned the lights off at the nurse's station in the Shadow Hall and turned to walk back and was like hit in the side and went to a mirror because like he's done this a few times. It's not his first rodeo, and he knew the feeling, and he looked in the mirror and he saw 3 scratches. So there's some more negative
energy down there.
He also gave us a bit of information that I don't remember hearing the first time around, was about a woman who had lived there, who's a caretaker there, and worked up until she was about 86 years old. And that's exactly where I think that they thought they were hearing the dog from, because she had a pet Pomeranian, I believe, that she carried with her everywhere. And even after the dog died, she had the dog stuffed and would carry the stuffed dog around with her everywhere. And they kind of forced her to quit because she was getting, unable to care for the property. But once she finally did pass, they started saying that they would hear a yippy type of dog, which is what he was referring to on that recording.
Yeah.
Just interesting.
It's very interesting because her house is actually located right outside of Malvern Manor, still on the property. It's just like this, it's like a mobile home
it's like
just outside.
Yeah.
So I'll do the Bloody Hall, which is, like I said, it's Captain's room, Inez's room, Susie's room. It's the second floor, and it's called we call it the Bloody Hall because there's blood on the walls.
Makes sense.
And we were excited to get audio from here because last time we were there was a dripping into a bucket in a bathroom by there. And
the water torture all night.
Of the footage was just constant dripping into a bucket.
Loop?
Yes.
Yes.
We're like, we can get actual stuff to isolate.
Yes.
So I'll divide it up into 3 sections. One group is while we were doing a live. We did a couple, I think actually 3 lives that night. Sarah and Lindsey each did a separate live, and then we did one together on our third platform. And then the second grouping of audio is from whenever we went up there to investigate just on our own after we weren't on a live or anything. And then the third grouping is from the overnight, which is about 6.5 hours of audio. So the first grouping is during the live. So again, Sarah and Lindsey are both on separate lives. Sarah stayed by herself in the Bloody Hall.
I did.
So proud of you.
Which is impressive.
Thank you. I actually was a little nervous.
I could hear it, but you did really good.
Thank you. I was kind of scared. So the Bloody Hallway is like very far removed from everybody else too. I can't even
It's on the
hear
other side
them.
of the building. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you. I was very proud of myself.
So interesting things that I heard during that. Sarah was just speaking with everybody on the live, and she said, which is your favorite toy that you like to play with? And in between toy and that you like to play with, there's like a clown honk, like a burner, 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 burner. It's like a clown honk.
Interesting.
It's so random.
Which one is your favorite toy?
Which Inez's room does have lots of toys in there.
Yes,
Let's
it does.
point that out. Yeah.
Yeah, which I honestly, out of the whole group, that's probably the most interesting piece of evidence that I caught. When I heard it, I was like, wait a second, was she like honking
She
something?
was making her own honking.
I didn't call it out either.
No,
so.
and she certainly would have.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. She was asking, do you like this picture? It was in Susie's room, and there's coloring books in there, and people color and then put it on the walls. And so she was like, do you like this picture? And you hear this,
Did your spirit ears hear that?
I don't think so. I think I was focused on engaging with the people on the live,
Sure.
trying not to sound like a nervous wreck, and like I knew what I was doing. All the things.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
So then she moved on to Inez's room, and there's several clicks. But I know Sarah's really good about calling things out whenever she hears them. I just can't 100% rule out that it wasn't like her moving around or anything. But I did hear just random clicks. And then she said, you've got a lot of toys to play with. Lots of normal looking, not spooky dolls at all. And then she nervous laughed.
Like that.
Sounds like us.
Because there are lots of dolls that are sort of creepy.
Creepy up there. Yeah.
So that's what happened during live. So the clown honk and the
Yeah.
And then we were up there doing our own investigation. And this is when Lindsay's doing the Phasma box. And we're all in Captain's room.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, I don't remember.
I
so
remember
nervous.
saying we have got to include this whole part, this whole audio.
It's fun. So
Yeah.
Lindsay's doing Phasma box. And with Phasma box, it's an app. And she's got noise canceling headphones on. She can't hear Sarah or I. Bless her.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
No,
What
you
happened?
didn't do anything. It's really
You
us.
did nothing.
It's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were
Obnoxious,
out of control.
apparently.
And then Sarah and I are just trying to play off of what Lindsay's saying and asking questions pertaining to any of that. And so, honestly, I'm just going to read through it all, and then I'll cut out anything that's just like redundant.
Okay.
I'm excited to hear this because I haven't heard this since I had the headphones on.
So Lindsay says, "What?" And then I am moving on the floor, and it's squeaking, and I say I want the record to show that that's the floor, not me making that noise.
Record. I love the record.
Lindsay says, "Shut up." And Sarah says, "Thank you." And I said, "I apologize for existing." And then Sarah says, "Boyce and I are terrible at leading." And then Lindsay says, "Yes."
Oh, and by Lindsay says, like, this is what I am picking out from the Phasma box. Okay.
Yes.
Let the record show.
Lindsay says, "All right." And I go, "All aboard."
Oh my gosh. The trains came back.
Trains came, or I said, "Or is it ahoy, mate?" And Lindsay says, "Really?" And Sarah said, "Are you over our nonsense?" And I say, "Do you have a log? Is it Captain's log?" And that started Sarah and I saying Captain's log, like we were on Star Trek.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know we've talked about it briefly in the podcast, but I had some throat demons, which is my acid reflux that you can audibly hear.
Throat demons, goblins.
We call it throat demons. And I say, "That's my demons." And Lindsay goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, it's the bubbles that happen in my throat." And then Sarah Wheeze laughs, just like she's happening
doing
now.
right now. It's like she's reliving this.
And then
this is so funny when
after
we're
I
sitting there.
after I explain my demons, Lindsay says, "Terrible."
The spirits were not amused.
And then Sarah goes, "What kind of captain were you?" And I said, "Were you in the military, the armed forces?" And the flashlight came on. And then Lindsay says, "Infantry."
Oh, I do remember that part.
Sarah hears a growling noise, which I cannot hear on the recorder. I didn't hear in person, but Sarah hears it, so I believe that it happened.
Maybe not. Let's
Lindsay
see.
says, "Go away." And I say, "Well, I'm not going to just yet." And then she says, "Question, investigate." I feel like she's saying, like, you guys need to leave the investigation and stop messing around. And I say, "What do you think about Josh? Does he take good care of things?" And Lindsay says, "Okay." So, they're indifferent
I
about
feel like
Josh.
that's as good as it gets from them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sarah says, "You have a lot of visitors coming through." And Lindsay says, "I see them."
Mm.
And then at a few minutes in, you can hear it on the recorder, and Sarah and I both hear it. It's like a loud hum. It's like this one note pitch that goes on for a few seconds.
You see the people coming to visit? Is that what you said?
No.
It wasn't? Oh. It sounded like a... You see the people coming to visit? You see the people coming to visit? You see the people coming to visit?
Which was pretty interesting that we all heard it, and I also caught it on the recorder.
Cool.
I say, "What's your favorite food?" And Sarah says, "Are you a meat and potatoes kind of guy?" And Lindsay says, "What do you mean?" And Sarah's like, "Just trying to find your interests." And Lindsay's like, "Yeah, right."
They were not a fan of you.
No, it gets better.
Sarah.
They did not like me.
Lindsay says she hears a foghorn, and Sarah sings, "I'm on a boat."
You sang "I'm on a But without me?
And I
How
said,
dare you?
well, it's okay. I stepped in. I said, do you have your swim trunks? And Sarah said, and my flippy floppies. And then Lindsey says, thank you. And then she says, it's a mistake.
Your singing is a mistake, yes.
And I asked, do you speak any other languages? And Lindsey says, don't be stupid. And I said, I'm just trying to talk and communicate with you. And Lindsey says, go away. And I said, you don't have to be mean. I mean you no harm. I'm just interested in you. And then she apologizes and says, sorry.
Aww.
And then Lindsey says that she hears multiple voices, and she says, one at a time, guys. Like Lindsey's saying, one at a time, guys, like one person talk at a time. And I say, it's a party in here. And then right after that, she says, it's not a big one.
That's what she said.
And then Lindsey says, Sarah.
Oh.
I say, do you know any good jokes? And then Sarah starts with a knock-knock joke.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a classic knock-knock joke. It's the orange you glad I didn't say banana
That's all I could
joke.
come up with at the moment. Okay.
And so we're like really into it. Like she's the knock-knocker, I'm the who's there, and we're just playing off each other. And right at the climax of the joke, whenever Sarah says banana, Lindsey says, stop.
You did not like my joke.
Not at all.
Do you know any good jokes? Knock, knock. Who's there? Orange. Orange who? Knock, knock. Who's there? It's orange again. Orange again who? Knock, knock. Who's there? It's me, orange again. Orange who? Knock, knock. Who's there? Banana. Banana who? Stop.
So then we moved to Susie's room. We were asking, like, do you like to color? And Lindsey says, I try to. And I say, what's your favorite color? And Lindsey says, brown. Sarah says, tree stumps are brown. And I say, dead grass. Dead grass is brown. And then Sarah says, chocolate.
Yeah, that's all I could come up with.
And tree stumps, dead
Chocolate.
grass, and chocolate. Yes.
It's better than poop.
They're all right.
And so, of course, this sets us off. And we tell the room that we're learning new languages, because then we say chocolate in both Norwegian and then German. And then Lindsey says, stop messing around, with the male voice. And then she says that in a small young girl's voice, it says, I'm two, and speak up. And then yellow, which is a response to what the favorite color is. And Sarah says, I know a good knock-knock joke.
I am never doing the Phasma box again because two of
I don't know how to engage with the Phasma.
Listen, have you heard the knock-knock joke, though?
We were just a room over. Did you hear it?
We can do it again if you want. We'll do it.
Captain hates it.
We'll do it. It's fine. Sarah says, what state are we in? And Lindsey says, obviously, Iowa.
Oh, I don't remember saying that.
And I say, can you tell me what color my thumbnail is? Because there's fingernail polish in Inez's room, and I colored my thumbnail.
Yes.
And Lindsey says that a deep male voice said no. And I said, I wasn't asking you. I was asking her. And then Lindsey says a little girl voice says pretty, and which is what my thumbnail was. It was pretty.
Aww.
I say, can you tell me your name? Lindsey says Peter. Sarah says, are we bothering you up here? Which is a classic Sarah question to ask.
Sorry that I'm here.
Intrude. Just wanted to tell you a joke.
Sorry to intrude in an empty building.
And Lindsey says tired. And Sarah's like, I'm getting tired too.
Oh, I do remember hearing the child's voice in that room.
Mm-hmm. And then she says, be gone. They're sweaty.
We are sweaty.
So
They were
then we're going to move on to the Bloody Hall overnight. And that's going to lead me into a little bit of a segue. We had a new recorder, which I have already left a 1-star review on Amazon because it's really pretty terrible. Honestly, when you listen to it, it sounds like you're listening to it through water or with like a pillow over it. It's very muffled and distant. And I chose that night of all nights to test out a new recorder. And so unfortunately, I had 6 hours, 33 minutes, and 31 seconds of a recorder under a pillow is what it sounded like. And it was really unfortunate because the Bloody Hall is one of our most active hallways, one of our most active spots. Last time we were at Malvern, and I could hear, like, I tried so hard to be able to hear something on it, but you could hear, like, if this was a regular recorder, if this was one of our other recorders, I would have been able to hear, like, a bang or a tap or maybe even a whisper. It's impossible for me to isolate it. And so I'm just going to chalk it up to lesson learned.
Yeah.
We won't use that recorder again. And now we have to go to Malvern for a third time, and I'm not mad at it.
We can do that.
We can do that.
There's so many places to explore there that even though that was our second time, we still didn't hit every room, every place. So
well, and I will say that I feel like we got a lot of intelligent responses from the Phasma box there.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes.
Even though you guys were ridiculous.
Sarah
that is all I know how to do. I thought I was being engaging.
Okay, so let's go down to the Shadow Hall.
Okay.
So I have a couple from here. So, you know, we all had an overnight, so I'll do the overnight last. All right, so let's start with the first one. You guys went there while we went to dinner. Or you set a recorder up in the Shadow Hall while we were all at dinner, so nobody's in the house. I'll put this disclaimer. There is a lot of tapping that is going on in the Shadow Hall. And it got to the point where I was just writing tap all the time that I was like, okay, there must be like something that was making all this tapping because it happened, like I said, through 6-7 hours of footage. It was raining that night too, so I don't know if that was part of it.
While we were sitting there, it was still light out.
Yes.
We could hear the tap too at the end of the hallway near Rebecca's room, and you heard it too because we
tried to debunk it.
Yeah, we went down there trying to
several
debunk.
times.
So we could hear it too.
Mm-hmm. Still don't know what it is. I don't know if it was like something against the door, because if I went by the door that leads out, you can hear the rain like by it, but I don't know what the tapping is, but I'll just put that as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
It was there. All right. So while we were at dinner, there was lots of tapping. About an hour into this recording, it sounds like someone is opening a door. Sounded just like that.
I don't need to insert audio. We've already heard it.
We've already got it. 4 minutes later, there is a loud thud. I don't know if that was like us, because I do hear our voices about a minute after that, but we walked to dinner. We didn't come back.
Right.
But maybe one of us got in the car and that was our car door shutting. I don't know. Then Sarah went upstairs and Boyson and I went down to the Shadow Hall to live stream for a little bit. We set up a flashlight and we did get a flashlight response at one point. And then we were only down there for like 10 minutes before we went to Gracie's room, which is kind of off of the Shadow Hall that leads back to the main area. So I can kind of distantly hear us talking. But then we end up going upstairs to meet up with Sarah, and we left the recorder going for about an hour and a half after that. I do hear another big bang. I don't know if it's a door. I don't know if it's like something being dropped. I don't know. But we are not down there anymore, so there was some bang. And there's a couple thuds, and again, some tap, tap, tap. And then, kind of like what Boydson said, the recorder that was not working too great, I have about 40 minutes of that, and I'm just going to call it a wash. I had a good recorder going during this session when we were down there doing the Phasma box, and then this one, at one point, Sarah, you said you hear a voice, but of course I got nothing on that recorder.
Yeah.
So we went down there, we did a Phasma box session with Boydson was doing it first, and then you did it second. We had one recorder set up in Gracie's room. We had the not so good recorder set up at the end of the Shadow Hall, like where the apparition is supposedly at, which is room 1. And then Sarah is holding a third recorder. So I have 3 recordings of the same thing.
Love that.
Love that. Okay. Sarah, pretty much as soon as we got down there, you said that you smelled cigarette smoke.
I don't remember that.
Boydston with the Phasma box right away said 3.
Together we are 3.
Together we are 3.
Together we are 1 is what it was.
Together we are 3. Sarah, again, you hear a voice to your right. So we're sitting in a line, and you were sitting closest to where the apparition is said to be at bed 1. And then Boysen's in the middle, and then I'm sitting on the other side, which is where the door to get out is, where I can kind of hear the tapping the most. So you said that you heard a voice to your right, and we're hearing clicks to our left. Sarah asked, what meds do you need? Because we were like, hey, do you need meds? Because we're in the nursing home side of it. And Boysen said, heparin.
Yes, I remember that.
And then said, what is that? And laughed. Boysen said, he's out there. And we were like, who's out there? And she said, in there. It needs to be stopped. We said, did you live here? Did this used to be a place that you lived? And Boysen said, right in this region. Sarah said, we live in Kansas City. Do you know where that is? And Boysen goes, barbecue.
Oh, that's fun.
I thought that was interesting.
That's cute. Good thing I asked that.
Good thing you asked. Then Boysen says, I'm excited to masturbate.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I said that.
And the REM pod goes off literally right after that. And the REM pod was going off for a long time.
Oh, no.
And Sarah said, that's a weird thing to say before the REM pod goes off. And at this point, I was investigating by the door trying to figure out the tapping. And Sarah goes, Lindsey, do you hear that? And I'm like, the REM pod? Yes, I hear it.
Because it never goes off. And it was like
Never
actually lighting, not the temperature changing, but
It was happening.
it was up. And then you were talking about masturbating. I was like, this is
It was
weird.
somebody's climax. We just
I
don't
guess
know who.
so. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to think about a ghost climax right then.
I don't have anything constructive to say.
I know you were
Let's
thinking
just-
something.
Well, my question is, what do you
Okay, what?
can ghosts
No.
like
I don't like this.
ejaculate? That's
Probably
my
not.
question.
We
What does
asked
it
if they
feel
could
like?
breathe, or what else? We asked, fart. We asked if ghosts could fart. We
Because
didn't
you
the
can't
answer.
yawn around like haunted locations. 'Cause
Yeah.
they can just stick their little ghost peens in their mouth, in your
That's-
mouth.
We've talked about that on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't remember at all. I don't have a great memory for other reasons, but I don't remember at all saying that.
You did. And kind of to backwards, because I forgot about a recording that you guys went to the Shadow Hall as soon as you got there before I showed
Yeah.
up.
Well, it's backwards.
Yes, go backwards just a little bit. So, because when you talk about the barbecue, you guys were saying you weren't doing Phasma Box earlier, but you were saying, where you live in Kansas City, there's some good barbecue there. So you were talking about barbecue while you were down
We told
there.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And while you guys were down there, before I got there, so really before it even got dark, you guys were hearing creaking by Rebecca's room. You asked it to make a noise, and there was a tap that you guys all called out saying you heard. Sarah says she hears a loud bang, but I didn't catch it on the recorder. Flashlight went off a couple times.
Yeah.
All right, so right after the REM pod goes off, Sarah, you say that you are cold, which I will say it was cold down there, but you said you got more cold.
It was extra cold.
Well, no, you said it's really cold. And I said, like, you feel colder than usual. And you're like, yeah, like it got colder.
Which is kind of weird because I don't feel like I call out like, oh my God, my hands are cold.
In between, like, us talking about you being cold, in Gracie's room, the recorder picks up a
Oh.
that sounds pretty close to the recorder. So
Kind
all
of far
throughout,
away from us.
yeah, so all throughout this recorder, like, our voices are distant, but
Right.
the was close. So then Boydson says, there's something up there. Do you see it? And we said, what? What's up there? And then I'm hearing tapping. And then Boydson goes, hello. And we said, hi, what's your name? And Boydson goes, Bill, Evelyn. And then said, I'm sad here.
Oh.
And so we're like, oh, I'm so sorry that you're sad. And then you got a little girl voice who started talking about squirrels. Do you remember
Aw.
that?
Nope.
The squirrels. And so
Not
we
at
were
all.
like, are there squirrels here? Should we be worried?
Is that what the tapping is?
And while we're talking about the squirrels, both of you said that you saw a shadow down the hall by Gracie's room.
Oh.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. Boydson was like, hold on, I just saw a shadow. And Sarah goes, I did too. And I go, I cannot see the hallway.
Sounds about
And
right.
you said it was just crossing from like left to right in front of Gracie's room. At that point, flashlight goes off as well. We say, can you make a sound to let us know you're here? We think we just saw you. And Boydson said, I'm here. I speak. And then said, attic, which we had been up to the attic earlier. At this point, I get up to go to the nurse's station, and I just start reading off names. And you guys switch, so now Sarah is doing the Phasma box. And I'm like, hey, is this your name? Just kind of trying to get a response. I said Wayne, and Sarah heard Dwayne on the Phasma box.
Oh, interesting.
So you guys were saying that there were several voices that were coming through. One that you said was he had a very funny sense of humor and sounded like he had an intellectual developmental disorder. So
he was very funny.
Yeah.
He
You
really
guys were
was,
saying
yeah.
he was making jokes. So maybe that's the one who said, I'm excited to masturbate.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe so. I remember one of them being pretty, like, comical.
Laughing, joking. Yeah.
So I'm continuing to call out names. Sarah says Smith, right? And I was like, oh, Ben Smith. And that was the next name I was going to read. So you said Smith before I even said it. At this point, Boydston goes, I see a shadow. It is crawling on the ceiling.
Ew.
And I was
I'm
like,
so glad I didn't know
what?
that.
Well, you said you saw a shadow, and I was like, oh, where? Like thinking in the hallway again. And she's like, it is crawling on the ceiling.
Oh, God, I'm so glad I didn't know that. I would have thought
That
it was a bat.
sounds terrifying.
Yes.
Yes. I did not like that. I hear some shuffling, and it sounds like almost a whisper. And this
Ugh.
is from Gracie's room. So I don't know if there was like something kind of further away from Gracie's room that we weren't hearing. Sarah says the name David as well. On the Phasma box, you said that you were hearing it kind of just did not like us at this point, starts saying leave. Again, Sarah says just move, get out. And you said this was like a scary male voice. And then think harder, number 3, leave. So we did leave at that point.
Took a hint.
It also said get out, go to safety.
Oh, okay.
I think I might have caught something here. It sounds kind of like a laugh or a bang. And it's not like one of our laughs. So the overnight. I will say, Josh gave us lots of shots. And I did one that was, I'm going to call it the devil's apple juice.
It was called 99 Apples. And
It is 99 proof.
later on, Lindsey tries to say that we made her do the shots. We didn't make her do anything. We didn't hold her down. We
No.
didn't shove it in her mouth. But she likes to blame Sarah and I anytime she gets drunk.
I literally, I wasn't drinking that much. I don't even think I drank at dinner. But I did that shot, and it hit me.
You did. You helped me finish my cran vod.
I did help you finish your cran vod. But this is several hours later, and I downed that shot, and, it was a mistake.
Yeah, that was next level, Lindsay. It was fun. And I kept going, guess who's back? Back again.
So I'm saying all this because as we start the overnight recording, I can hear all the way from our safe room me acting like a fool going, that was the devil's apple juice.
I have the recording from Hank's hallway where I can hear you too.
Oh my gosh. I was so
I thought
loud.
about playing it for
Hang
you guys.
on. One of my things, whenever we put the overnight recorders on, it says, it's Lindsay. It says, hey guys, it's Lindsay. You made me do those shots. Bye.
I find the
First
way
of
that
all,
I am.
Boydston and I we were supposed to share it. And
Yes.
we tried a sip of it and we were like, absolutely fucking
It
not.
burns.
It was like kerosene and
It is.
acetone mixed together.
Worse than moonshine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take whiskey any day over or moonshine. Any
99
day over that.
apples. Are you okay?
Wow.
I was not okay. So I'm glad that every single recording in this place caught me.
Yes.
Like that.
It was loud. It's next level, Lindsay.
And then Boydston read me a bedtime story.
I did.
I literally got changed into my pajamas and I crawled onto my air
No,
mattress.
you flopped onto your ear mattress.
Did I about flu? No, I was on my own
You were on your cot. You brought a
cot.
cot.
Yeah.
We didn't share a bed. And I remember rolling around on it as she read me the stories of people's past experiences in Malvern.
Aw, beautiful bedtime story. Did you catch anything overnight?
I did. So, about 36 minutes into the recording, we go to bed. So, anything after that, I'm going to call not us. There is, again, the taps. There's quite a few slams and bangs. A couple that are pretty big that sound close, and then there was a couple that sounded like a door shutting further away. And I will say, gosh, we went to bed probably 1, 2 a.m.
It's usually around 2.
Late enough where like cars are not out and you're not going to hear car doors.
Right.
You would hear the occasional car, but it's not like someone's like getting out. I hear it sounds like something got dropped on the floor. After about 3 hours, I start to question what is the difference between a thud and a bang.
I know. I'm like, thud, knock.
I'm like, thud,
door.
bang.
I don't know.
Bang.
Noise.
Thud, noise. I don't know. About 3 hours in, you get the sound of, it sounds like a note that is being played over and over again for 10 seconds.
Like on a piano.
It sounds like a piano.
Yeah.
And Inez's room does have like
it's like a floor
piano,
like a toy.
That you can like step on, that little kids step on, it makes noise.
Yeah.
And people have reported hearing that going off. But that is, again, all the way on the other side of the building.
Right.
And it is faint. It's not very loud, but it's not like it's our phones or anything. So I don't know what it was. So it's interesting. And about a minute after that, I hear some footsteps that are kind of distant, and then a loud, distant, it sounds like a reverberated like boom. You said it sounded kind of like a growl almost.
Right. Yeah.
So don't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit later, Boydston dropped her phone in the middle of the night and woke us all up and scared me half to death in the recording. I just remember all of us bolting up going, what was that? And Boydston's like, it's my phone.
It's my phone.
Yes.
Settle down. Go back to bed.
Listen, it was a loud bang.
It was scary.
Then I hear a big slamming of a door followed by some tapping, and then not even a minute later, another big slamming of a door, it sounds like. And then again, a minute later, another big slamming of a door. So... Three slams all within a minute apart.
Wow.
I hear some footsteps that are kind of further away. And then I hear this, near the end of the recording, I hear this big loud thud. And so I woke up before them. I left before them. I drove separately. And so it sounded almost like my car door slamming, like when I was loading my car up. But then, literally 30 seconds after this big loud bang, I hear my phone alarm going off. So we were still asleep.
Yeah.
And that bang didn't wake any of us up. And it was literally... 30 seconds before I woke up, and I didn't hear it. Don't know what that was, but lots of banging, sounding like doors being shut.
Right. Well, mine are kind of similar.
No EVPs, I will say.
Well, my recordings are kind of all over the place, so we'll just start in the front room. We lovingly call it the Britney Spears room.
Because this is where we made our Britney Spears TikTok.
That's right. We really didn't investigate there a ton. This time or the last time. We did a little bit. So, yeah, we left a recorder when we went to dinner, and this was still, it was daylight out. There's still people kind of out and about.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I can hear banging in the background, and it sounds, again, kind of like a door shutting, like we've mentioned several times. At this time, though, like I said, it's daytime, so I can't tell if it's cars or something in the house. And I also hear some talking, but again, where this is located is towards the front of the house. And I don't know, it could be outside, it could be inside, but I wrote it down just in case. Then I wrote several bangs in a row. And that's all I got on that one.
Okay.
The other ones that were during the daytime, Boydston and I got there a little earlier, like Lindsey just mentioned. So we did some investigating on our own. Up in the attic. Boydston, at one point, she says she hears whispering and something like chains dragging on the floor. And there's a click on the recorder shortly after that. And I also want to say that this was the recorder that's pretty muffled. So it was hard to hear a lot of things. But at about 3 minutes in, I hear what I think sounds like a really faint growl. And keep in mind that on our first investigation here, we heard several growls up in the attic, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's what it was. But right after that happened on the recording, I did not hear it in real time, but I said something like, I swear I keep hearing things back there. And Boydston says, yeah, I keep hearing things too. So we heard something. We just didn't know what it was. Then at some point we began singing. I guess singing is a strong word. I think more talking. The song lyrics to From the Window to the Wall.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
To the wall.
And then we asked the ghost if the sweat has dripped down their balls.
I cannot leave you two alone. What is wrong with you?
There's a lot of things wrong with us. Thank you for asking.
Seriously.
And as we do, we played off each other for a good several minutes until I think that song was entirely done.
So I may have been drinking the devil's apple juice, but you guys weren't even drinking then.
No, that's just us.
And Boydston says,
Ghost, did the sweat drop off your balls?
and Boydston says, Lindsey, if you're listening to this recording, that's a rap song.
You butthead.
It made me laugh. Boydston asks, I think you're asking to the recorder we left down in the hallway, downstairs, one level. You said, is there somebody down there? And then you knock on the wall, and we both hear a knock and say, thank you for responding.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There was another recording before the overnight ones during our TikTok live up in the attic, which was a little bit of a shit show. I had the muffled recorder, couldn't really hear anything worth talking about. So unfortunately, that one was kind of a wash, but it was funny to listen to. We also spent some time in Hank's room.
My favorite.
Yeah, I had a recorder that we had in the room and then one that we just put right outside in the hallway. I'll kind of give more of the details from the one in the hallway because that one you can't hear stomachs growling every 5 seconds. Our REM pod went off and the cat toy right in the beginning. So we must have called it out. We had him in the room, I think, with us, the REM pod and the cat toy. Lindsey said out loud that she was sad about the nail clippings being gone, which I said, that is disgusting.
In Hank's room, it has his clothes like still left in the dresser, and it had his like fingernail and toenail clippings in the top drawer. And
I don't know that they were
cleaned them
his.
out. Well,
They were somebody.
they were
somebody's.
somebody's who used to live there. And I was like, it added to the authenticity of the place, and I was sad they removed it.
She was sad. And Boydston and I were like, barf. That's really gross.
Okay, don't even come at me when you guys are over there asking the ghosts if the sweat dropped down their balls.
I stand behind that.
It was part of a song. It was authentic in the moment. Okay. Lindsey says, do you not want us to put your clothes on? And then the flashlight turned on.
Hank doesn't like it when women are in his room or mess with his stuff.
That's true. So we were talking about something, and Boydston says, was it in the 2000s that happened? And the flashlight turned on and off right away. Another flashlight came on at about 9 minutes in. At 10 minutes in, I said, I see a shadow in the hallway and heard a click on the recording. Boydston hears a noise, but didn't say what it was, and I couldn't really hear anything on the recording. At one point, I hear a train going by, but I don't remember talking about trains, and we didn't call it out. I know there is train tracks somewhere close by.
Ghost train.
Ghost train.
We love trains.
Lindsay can't debunk it this time.
She did not rush out
I
there.
did not rush out to go find a train.
About 16 minutes or so, I hear a very faint breath on the recorder in the hallway. The flashlight goes off and on again, and we hear a squeak noise that, quote, sounds like something a hearing aid would make or a nose whistling.
I don't know what a hearing aid noise makes.
Like a battery or
high-pitched, like, noise.
Okay.
It's like when your nose whistles if you have a booger stuck in it.
Oh, I know what that sounds like.
Well, that's what a hearing aid sounds like.
Sounds like a wheeze laugh.
Sounds like a wheeze.
Maybe I was wheeze laughing silently while you guys were there. I don't know.
Where is that?
Is that a hearing aid?
Is there a booger stuck in someone's nose?
Is that a ghost booger?
Can ghosts have boogers? I don't know. This was the overnight recorder going for, again, 6 hours. And we set it, we walked downstairs, and I can hear us in the background. And I can hear the door creaking Maybe it was a door, something creaking in the background. Again, that's what I hear. 2 pieces of plastic hitting together, which I'm assuming can only be plastic toys. Obviously.
Obviously.
Yes. 11 minutes in, so we are way downstairs. I can't even hear us, but I hear footsteps kind of running up onto the recorder. And then a voice that I think says, hello? Or I also write, it might be a car, right? I don't know. You guys tell us what you think. It's hard to tell, but it does sound like a voice in this situation. Followed by several footsteps. And then throughout the night, just like Lindsey, I wrote, knock, knock, shuffle, door closing, movement, question mark. But my favorite part was before I went to bed and I wrote, oh my God, drunk Lindsey is laughing in the background and it is a trip.
I'm so sorry. That one shot, like, literally just hit me so bad.
99 apples.
I mean this not in any bad way at all, but you have like a loud, boisterous laugh. Right?
I do. I know I do.
And then drunk Lindsey is like next level.
I know.
I loved it so much.
That's
how I knew.
I hate it so much because I can always hear it on recordings. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so obnoxious.
Please. Are you kidding me? I'm the queen of obnoxious on
no,
recordings.
You have the silent wheeze. Mine is like loud guffaw.
Well, when it comes to laughing, but when it comes to saying stupid shit, yes. Anyhow, I loved it so much and I was just so glad that I was like,
you got to hear it.
Yes. That was the end of our experience. You know, last time I know I had a pretty terrible experience overnight trying to sleep. Couldn't sleep. My heart was racing all night. I just felt horribly anxious, couldn't sleep. And I was sweating all night, which was weird because it was freezing. So this time I did not have that problem. I slept fine. I did not feel the anxiety that I did last time. So that was a good thing. I was really nervous about going back and having that same type of experience. So I am glad that I did not.
I have a few entries from
The captain's log?
the Malvern captain's log.
All right. Let's hear it.
This is from 4/21 of 21 from 4 Ghouls and a Gay in Casey Mo. It says, while in the nurse's wing, we were in the pool room and our REM pod was going crazy along with our R2 meter. We asked if they had a message for Johnny Hauser. The REM pod went crazy. Once I got home to analyze my EVP and other stuff, I'm hoping that we caught a message. We'll send to Josh if there was anything. So TBD on that. Also got an EVP of someone saying help in Hank's room. Got an EVP of a scream or a pig squeal while in Inez's room. Lots of activity in the parlor with the REM pod. My entire team all complained of their backs hurting. This is nothing any of us have experienced at any other overnight. We will be back soon. This is from the Ghost Bitches.
Aw, let's be friends, ghost bitches.
From October 23rd of 21. Wow, what a night. We had something happen in most of the rooms. The thunderstorm really revved up energy. From EMF going crazy to spirit box conversations. Have lots of video and EVPs to go through when we get home. The craziest thing was in the Shadow Man's hallway. Our REM pod went so crazy. Never have we ever seen it go off like it did. Thank you for letting us come and experience the Malvern Manor again. I'm sure we will return.
Cool. That's where we had our REM pod go off too.
They wrote that, and then they said, just remembered, has anyone ever had someone whistle? We got a whistle last night in many different rooms and even had EVPs where when asked who was whistling, they said him. This morning in the attic, we had a spirit box session and someone admitted that they were the ones who whistled.
We did have a whistle.
It was a hearing aid.
It was a nose whistle.
Or a hearing aid. You know?
But really, on our first time there, we did have a whistle on the video.
Yes. So next from the Shadow Seekers from July 18th, 21. Went up to Inez's room. We did have the K2 meter going off in her room. We had a REM pod in the hallway that kept going off. In between Dawn and Brad, there was a cold breeze. And in fact, there was a colder area behind Brad's back. So...
Ooh.
Way to go, Dawn and Brad. And it was very hot upstairs when this happened. Visiting Susie, had the K2 meter go off, went to Henry's room, messed with his clothes, and he said Angie's name. Downstairs, we heard noises in the hallway, possibly from the parlor. Also, another Shadow Man hallway visit. We got the name Isaac. He's also in the Malvern history book. We were reading off the deceased names to elicit a response. Also got the name One come through and tell us they were here. They had a DVR camera set up, and it was down the captain's hallway, and it kept glitching. It did register movement at one time.
There is supposedly a presence that calls himself the One.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
That's
about
the
that.
negative energy.
This one is from August 13th of 2021, Paranormal Energy of Nebraska Investigation Society. So penis. Oh my God. That's genius.
I was thinking that's such a long name. What's their acronym?
Wait, what's it again? Paranormal Energy?
Paranormal Energy of Nebraska Investigation Society.
They totally did that.
Oh my gosh. You're so
I wanna
clever,
be a
penis
part of
group.
Penis.
Are you part of the Pin 5 group? Pin 1
Pin
5?
15.
Oh my god, I dropped the ball.
Pin 5. That's
The
just pins.
My group is the Pins group, okay?
I'll join your pins group.
That is amazing.
Good job, penis group.
Okay.
All right, what did the penis say?
The penis said our stay had some activity right at the get-go. One person in our group had their hair tugged in the first room
Hell!
we visited during the history portion of the tour. A room down from that, cameras were unable to focus, trying to lock onto something for facial recognition. In one part of the room, the focus box wasn't coming up at all, and then automatically in the closet. When rolling a ball down the hall from Gracie's room to the first room, the ball took a sharp left turn into the first room, and then a few seconds later rolled back out into the middle of the hall by the door and stopped.
Ooh, that's cool.
Rolling a ball uphill picked up speed rather than slowed down. A shadow was seen at the end of the hall by the grand staircase when rolling the ball. When in the attic, one member, the same one who had the hair pulled, had his hair pulled again. Also, his arm and his shoulder grabbed. One person had an almost electric energy field feeling. Another had scratches on legs, while yet another had tightness in their chest, poking in arms and legs.
All right, penis. They're getting a little braggy because lots of things happened. I'm jealous.
When one of us went into the cabinet under the attic stairs, there was an exhale. When going to the attic a second time, a shadow ran at one person, which dropped him to his knees. His hair was tugged again.
What?
In the room.
Wow.
I hate them.
This sounds like quite the experience.
In the
with
hall where the shadow man usually is in, one person had a heavy chest and heartbeat intense, like palpitations.
Okay.
We moved a dragon plushie to a specific position. It was moved. Banging noises from rooms 1 and 2 that are locked, and creaks, and then other noises through the night.
So that was our experience at Malvern. I feel like, what are you guys' thoughts? I don't remember what we rated it earlier.
I don't remember rating it either, but I still love it.
Honestly, Malvern's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would give it...
Just your haunted rating.
Just this time?
Let's do overall because I don't remember what it was for the first time.
Cumulative, I'm going to give it 9.
It's going to be an 8. I love it. It was up there.
Mm-hmm.
We highly recommend Malvern Manor. If you guys have not gone, you should go. It is one of the coolest places that we get to go that is like a private investigation. So you're going to get lots of evidence.
Yeah.
Josh is great. Check out
We love
G-Crew. Check out Ectoplasm. He does great things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, guys. So that is our revisit to Malvern Manor. Stay tuned because I'm sure we will be going back there again. Make sure that you go to thetipsyghost.com and you can find our socials linked from there. We will post as much evidence as we can isolate for you guys to see.
Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it really does help.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.